Welcome back, and let's continue then with our build-up to the budget that's expected at 2 o'clock. As that happens, a number of organizations have gathered outside Parliament, including Cosatu and the SACP. They're calling for a pro-poor budget. Speaking now is the SACP's Deputy National Chair, that's Thulas Nxesi. Let's listen in.
Some of you would even remember that, which was against the explicit wishes of the working class. The May 24 election manifesto that most of the organizations demanded. They endorsed the commitment for the government to tackling the cost of living crisis by providing food security, including through VAT exemption and essential items, not increasing the VAT. We are shocked then that today people talk about increasing the VAT. What the National Treasury must do is to introduce a wealth tax and a more progressive tax approach, focusing on the generating revenue from the rich and the wealthy to fund the development and key priorities amid the high rates of inequality that characterize our country. This measure, we believe, is essential in redistributing the resources and addressing the deeply entrenched disparities in income and opportunity. It will ensure, we believe, that the burden of funding public services is more equitably shared, promoting social cohesion and shared economic growth in line with the Freedom Charter's clarion call. The people shall share the country's wealth. We also denounce, we reject what the AfriForum is doing, trying to protect the apartheid inherited privileges, refusing the redistribution of the resources. And I want to agree with the previous speaker. To us, the issue of the land is non-negotiable. We want the land for housing. We want the land for farming. We want the land for everything. We're very clear. That is a very central question. As the SACP, together with our partners and the whole coalition, we will not stop at merely rejecting such a budget. We will embark on a deep-going process of mass mobilization of the working class against it until victory is achieved and secured. And we believe that this has far-reaching political implications. So the attempt to justify a VAT increase under the guise of the social relief of the distress grant, whose unemployed beneficiaries have been significantly reduced through austerity-driven red tape, is unfathomable. The unemployed, both actively seeking they are seeking work, they are discouraged after years of looking for work without success, under the years of the neoliberal policy failure. They must not be used as the VAT increased footballs. Instead of increasing the VAT and entrenching the austerity measures, not by the budget cuts and negative average medium-term expenditure framework, we are of the view that we're calling that the budget facilities that facilitate large-scale employment creation through a broad-based industrialization towards the Freedom Charter. That is the right of all to work. To achieve this, the government must lead by example and investigating directly in the economy rather than investing rather directly in the economy, rather than relegating key leaders to uncritical marketing agents for the private capital. Our leaders must not just listen to what the private capital is saying. They can't be shop stewards of the private capital. And we're very clear that from a scientific perspective, increasing VAT disproportionately hurts the working class and the poor. VAT is a regressive tax that falls hardest on those who already enjoy economic deprivation. For households living on the pittance afforded by the low wages and social grants, every VAT increase strips away what little purchasing power they possess. Essential goods such as food, electricity and transport already make up the bulk of the expenses for the poor. Further raising the VAT would compound the high cost of living, forcing many families into deeper poverty. Meanwhile, the rich, whose corporate tax has been repeatedly slashed, will continue smiling all the way to the bank, untouched by the economic violence inflicted on the workers and the poor. We reiterate our long-established position on austerity. Austerity should not be confused with trimming perks for senior officials or ensuring greater value for money by cutting rent-seeking or tackling corruption. Such measures should all be part of the normal prudent management of the public funds, which we would support. Neoliberal austerity, to us, is very clear. It involves, and its defining characteristics, the prioritization over all else of the achievement of predefined macroeconomic imbalances.
Thulasini Nxesi, of course, is with the SACP. He served in government before, so it's interesting to hear the remarks he's making about how they're shocked that there was a proposed increase in value-added tax. Nonetheless, he's part of a group of organizations there that are asking for a pro-poor budget as Enoch Kotongwana prepares to make a second attempt at delivering government spending plan. The time, of course, it's 2 o'clock. Whether or not he does take to the podium at that time, I suppose, remains to be seen.